You are going to learn today that as you do a task, it gets easier and easier every time you do it. So our learning target today is I can demonstrate as I do a task more, it gets easier. Kind of like practicing, like if you do a sport, the more you do it over and over again, the better you get at it. But we're going to practice this so you actually can believe me. We're going to try it out and give it a shot. So we're going to do an activity called Write It Right. It's an activity, and what it's going to show you is that a memory is strengthened by doing an activity or task over and over again. So once you know how to do something, you don't need conscious knowledge to perform the activity. That means you don't have to really think about it. We kind of talked about this a little bit, but now we're going to actually give it a try. While you're giving it a try, I want you to record your data right here in your science notebook. So in this space, you're going to put your Write It Right data. You're actually going to write the word science with your dominant hand and then write the word science with your non-dominant hand so you can see clearly that as you practice with your non-dominant hand, your handwriting gets better and better and better. All right, that's for page 6 in our notebook. All right, I'm going to move us over to page 7 here. Let's see if I can do this gracefully. Okay, that'll work. We're also going to do a second activity to work with this learning target. I understand that memories can be short or long term. So your brain tries to decide like what it wants to remember for a long time and what it doesn't really need to remember for a long time. Like you walk down the hallway, you probably don't remember everything when you walk down the hallway because your brain decided that that was not important information to learn. So in your short-term memory, you could take a few steps in the hallway and then be like, oh, I dropped something. You'll remember that you dropped something, you go back, you pick it up, and then you continue on. Your brain remembers where you went. But it's really not determining that that's important information. So what you need to know is that as neurons help transmit information to the brain creates short and long-term memories. Remember, neurons are brain cells, right? And they help work with your sensory organs and they gather information. Then they send it to the brain. Then the brain makes either a short-term memory or a long-term memory. And they connect that information and they tell the body what to do with the information. You're going to need to leave some space here. Okay, this space you're going to use to collect your data from an activity called What is Missing or What's Missing. I'm going to write that down here from the What's Missing activity. And this What's Missing activity, when you complete it, you'll want to transfer your data to here, okay? You'll actually end up making a list, okay? So anyway, you're going to look at a tray. It has some items in it. You're going to try and memorize what the items are. And then when they get covered up, you're going to make a list of everything you can possibly remember. And hopefully, if this experiment goes right, this information will be correct. So the first item on the tray that you notice hopefully will be the easiest to recall because it was labeled as the brain is important and transferred it to the long-term memory because it's different than everything else you did today, okay? The last item you remember probably will be the last item that you looked at because it's the most recent item you looked at. And that's something called recency. And so the recent thing, the most recent thing you saw in the short gets put in the short-term memory. All right, and just because it's recent, you can remember it, but like the second to last thing or the third to last thing, more difficult to remember because your memory has decided that that task you've done over and over again already, trying to remember what's on the tray, isn't important. So it's difficult to hold on to that information. All right, you guys, have fun with your activities and don't forget to number your notebook pages and get them completed appropriately with your data. Have a good one.